Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And you know what day it is. It's mid-Monday. So we're back in theater class. And I just want to say that none of you guys liked me before I lost the weight. And I'm just kidding. I don't know what else they would say. I was listening to this really toxic song before I started this because I was kind of like, let me just get into Midsize Princess energy, and it's just like, ooh, it's like really better and like, you know. So I had a song. It's kind of a low key song, and I don't think you guys would know about it because it's kind of like indie or like. It's not mainstream at all. So I'm not even gonna mention it because you guys probably don't understand it, and you probably wouldn't. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. But if there's anybody that does, I will be impressed. Even in my Midsize Princess form, it's called "Fought for Me" by Paradise Fears. That is old. It is seen. It is cringe. And I think his name was Sam, the lead singer. He's got hella fucking Midsize Princess energy beyond. And I don't even think he was ever midsize. So do that with what you will. But if you do know that, please let me know because I would be impressed. We're going to get into this. Okay. I'm just like, let me. Okay. I'm going to just let it play all the way through. This one is my biggest fear, ever getting fat again. Okay, let's go.
It's like when people ask what you're scared of and you can't say, so you just say spiders or snakes. My one is literally ever getting fat again. Like, being fat is literally the worst thing in the world. If you are having a bad day and then top it off with looking in the mirror and being like, and I'm also low-key super chubby, that bad day just got so much worse. Also, I used to literally dread going out for dinners, going on nights out, or anything where I had to put anything on that wasn't leggings and a jumper or joggers and a jumper because I just despised what I look like. Also, even things like getting changed in front of my fiance. There was a time when I was at my absolute fattest where I literally wouldn't let him really see me without clothes on. Like, I would always keep a jumper or a t-shirt on, if you know what I mean. If I got out the shower, I wouldn't let him see me without a towel. And in my opinion, that is just truly no way to live. And there are so many people that live like that and never do anything about it. So don't let that be you. I keep seeing that.
Okay, so I will just say, like, in my opinion, there's some toxic ritualistic red flags going on here. A lot of what she's saying, it's not necessarily like a fat thing. There's more to it, in my opinion. So I do want to break that down. And I don't think a lot of this is healthy. I will just say to start with, I don't think it is good to have your biggest fear gaining weight. First of all, it implies a mystical belief about weight gain, which I do not support whatsoever on this channel or at all. Weight comes from calories. So unless if you're massively overeating, all of a sudden you're not going to suddenly gain weight. So there's no need to fear it or be hyper vigilant all the time. I don't think that's actually healthy. I think you're actually putting yourself at risk to gain it back because you're keeping such a huge amount of anxiety around the issue when it's just not necessary. You know you're not going to gain the weight if you don't massively overeat. It's not going to happen. So it's not exactly the most rational fear, in my opinion. I don't think it's a good thing to be fat or, obese. We'll use the medical term. I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. But we're going to get into some of this because it's a little tricky because when we talk about fat is subjective. So I don't know how big she's talking. And as I talk about a lot on this channel or like in this series, I try to bridge a gap between people who maybe have lost from a lesser size to people who are very big and try to bridge that gap because I think there is definitely a disconnect going on here.
Friend, it's like when people ask what you're scared of and you can't say, so you just say spiders or snakes. My one is literally ever getting fat again. Like, being fat is literally the worst thing in the world.
So it depends on how big you're talking. If we're talking like being 20 pounds overweight, if that's fat to you, that's not the worst thing in the world. If we're talking about being 200 pounds overweight, it's really bad. I don't know if it would still be the worst thing in the world. It's bad though. I'll put it to you that way. It's like, ooh, like there's some fierce competition for stuff to be worse. But I don't think that this is necessarily realistic because it really depends. If you're like 50 pounds overweight, it's not great, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's a little bit too hyperbolic, I guess, for me. It really depends. There's a lot of shades of gray. And there's a lot of worse things that can happen to you than being overweight. So I think it's just too much. It's putting it on too much of a pedestal. Like I said, I don't support that. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. I don't mind people saying how awful it is to be fat. I do think it is for a lot of different reasons. But to say it's the worst thing, I think that that is a little too much. And, I just think there are worse things.
You are having a bad day and then top it off with looking in the mirror and being like, and I'm also low-key super chubby, that bad day just got so much worse.
So that's very toxic ritualistic. This is not good. Your day should not be worse or better depending on how you look in the mirror. That is a little too far. I think having a minor reaction, being like, oh, I look good, or oh, I don't look that good today, that's normal. But your day getting better or worse, based on it, it's something to look at. I'd at least examine it and be like, am I a little bit too obsessed? It's not good. That isn't healthy. It shouldn't affect your whole day. That's just too far. Which again, maybe she's exaggerating, but there are still going to be people that take what she's saying as like she's totally just saying fact, basically, or this is I'm trying to explain it, but there are going to be people who take her 100% seriously. And I'm like,
Also, I used to literally dread going out for dinners, going on nights out, or anything where I had to put anything on that wasn't leggings and a jumper or joggers and a jumper because I just despised what I look like. Also,
So I don't know. Like I said, this is also like, think of it this way. I feel like it's okay to not like how you look. It's another thing to despise and be like utterly disgusted with how you look. It's a little bit much. And I think we really have to look at the levels of emotional intensity when it comes to this stuff. Could you look in the mirror and be like, ooh, I don't really look that great? Sure, but if it's like, ugh, I hate how I look. You see how much it's a little bit sharp. I'll put it to you that way. Even at my biggest, like when I was like 383 and I was out of the disorder, I didn't look at myself that way ever. I just, I took it as just like, oh, I'm really big. That was it. And I just left it at that. And I just kind of lowered my expectations about a lot of stuff. And I just kind of lived my life a little bit. And I didn't like hate how I looked all the time or this type of thing. When I was really in the disorder, like when I was younger and I was basically around the same weight, I think I was actually like 30 pounds lighter. It was like maybe 350 at like 20, 21, something like that. I would look in the mirror and I would hate how I looked. And like when I was a teenager, I would look in the mirror and I would hate it. And I would like pick it apart and do all this stuff and like look at every single imperfection, every single thing and completely agonize over it. And when I say it, it could be like, there were moments where it could be hours. It could be hours. That's really bad. So again, there's a huge gradient to this type of thing. Being underwhelmed, I think that's totally normal. Being like, ooh, no, that's not a good look for me. Totally normal. Agonizing, hating, hyperanalyzing, staring for like an hour or longer, that's really bad. So if you're doing something like that, Not to quote the song again, but if you're taking the Sharpie and drawing on a picture of what you would cut off and all that stuff, like, you really got an issue. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that's not normal. That's E fall by letter D. Okay? At the very least, it would be some kind of extreme body dysmorphia and obsession. Oh my gosh, this is not on period. Okay. It would be some kind of huge body dysmorphia or obsession if it wasn't affecting how you are eating, but it is a huge risk. Like, somebody doing stuff like that, you're a lot more likely to start shifting your behaviors around consumption. So always be aware that people do transfer too. So it's not good to transfer. It's better to get out completely. Okay? So I'm a little concerned for her, the way she's talking. It's not sounding great.
Even things like getting changed in front of my fiance. There was a time when I was at my absolute fattest where I literally wouldn't let him really see me without clothes on. Like, I would...
It's disordered. It's giving disorder. So I don't think that's good. Always try to think of your recovery or like your weight loss, in my opinion, as something logical and just practical. A logical and practical decision. Even if you have to say that to yourself like 500 times, I don't care. Say, this is a cool, calculated, logical, and practical decision that I'm making to lose this weight. That's it. You don't need to keep yourself at a certain weight by hating how you looked before and this type of stuff. You don't have to do that. It is not necessary at all. And again, you don't want to have these intense anxieties around the issue. I don't think it's healthy. And in my opinion, for most people that have been very big, it puts you at risk for relapse. It puts you at risk to regain because it's you're creating anxiety around your body, which is not, it's risky in terms, like, it's not good. It's risky in terms of E fall by letter D. You don't want to do that. So
always keep a jumper or a t-shirt on, if you know what I mean. If I got out the shower, I wouldn't let him see me without a towel. And in my opinion, that is just truly no way to live. And there are so many people.
Yeah, but you don't have to lose the weight to not be able to, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's not important to lose the weight. I think it is good to lose the weight. It's okay to be like, unsatisfied, underwhelmed, not pleased. Like, you see the qualities of like words that I'm using, the quality of the emotion. I don't think it's okay to viscerally hate how you look. I think that that's too much. And, like I said, you don't want to have a transfer to a different kind of E fall by the letter D. You don't want to lose it that way. That's never a good thing at all. And it's not something that I support whatsoever. It's very risky. I think it contributes to the statistics around dieting, and it contributes to the failure rates and all these different things. I think it's really something you need to be mindful of, especially if you're coming from a very big size. You're likely not going to be able to hold on to that emotion long enough to get to the end. I've been at this. This is my 3rd year of serious weight loss. But technically it's, I did it for 3 months in 2022. And then I did a big thing in 2023 and a big thing in 2024. And I have to do another one in 2025. So that's a lot of years to be holding on to a visceral hatred of your body every single moment of every day. And you also have the whole time afterwards to maintain. I'm not going to sit here and hold on to visceral hatred of my body indefinitely. I don't think it's a good strategy. I just don't. And it's unnecessary. Remember, weight loss is weight loss can be a cool, calculated, practical, and logical decision for those who are overweight.
That live like that and never do anything about it. So don't let that be you.
Okay, so we're going to get into the next one. I'm a little nervous about this. I hope the music isn't copywritten, but whatever, I'm just gonna do it. So, get my crown together. 1 second. Okay, here we go.
And anyway, she was saying...
Oh, this one says, hold on, let me reload it. 1 second. Oh my gosh, I'm tripping. Okay, this one says, how people treat you before versus after losing weight.
Yeah, and anyway, she was saying... What's up, man? Cool. Anyway, sorry. And then after what was happening was... Oh, what's up, Jacob? Yeah, come join us, dude. You have a joke? What is it? Dude, that's not funny. You're weird. Oh, dude, you have a joke? Let me hear it. Hey, dude, you're funny. You're a cool guy, man. You're hungry? Yeah, man, there's nothing in here for you. Sorry. Wait, you said you're hungry? Yeah, come here, man. Yeah, I got chicken. Honestly, I got whatever, dude. You help yourself to whatever.
Okay. So I think I have a lot to say to this, to be honest. What I will say, first and foremost, is there are people that do have these issues, or at least certain logic. Like, I remember when I was first, I love to use Eric as an example. I use the same people as examples all the time, but my friend Eric, I have had him on the channel. He's very fit. When I first became friends with him, there were certain situations where I noticed people would almost basically like absolutely worship him because he was in shape. And I always thought that was kind of strange. I was not really fully in the disorder. Like, I had started to deconstruct it. Sorry, the word deconstruct is just kind of funny, but it really is like a toxic religion. I had started to deconstruct it in 2014, and I started hanging out with Eric and met him in 2015. But I noticed around 2017, so you can see it had been a few years into my recovery and coming out of it, where I could see people kind of worshiping the ground he walked on just because he was in shape. And I thought it was really cringy at the time. And there were certain people where I was mid-fat at the time in 2017. Like, there was this one moment where I was talking to Eric, and this guy walked up and talked to Eric and completely ignored me. And he was like our boss. We were working together, and it was super awkward. And I just got up and left. And, but I didn't really care. That's the thing. I know I'm supposed to be like, oh my gosh. And then I cried about it after, like, but I really didn't, because I didn't like him. And I'm not just saying that, I really didn't. So I just didn't like him. I didn't like him anyways. So I didn't want to talk to him. And I was just more irritated that I was in the middle of a conversation and it just got shut down. But it's like, it was our boss. Eric can't tell him to shut up. You know what I mean? And it was kind of weird. So there were a lot of times where things like that happened. And I think had I been like really people pleasery or like really caring about what people thought, it would have bothered me. But like I said, most of the time when people do that kind of thing, I don't like that kind of person anyways. So I don't know how much this would apply to me is all I'm trying to say. And it doesn't have to apply to you either. Like, you're free to not like people back. I'm just going to say that. I think it's, you know, it's just a thing. It's a thing. It's okay. You know, and I say this for a lot of introverts, because a lot of introverts, they feel like this super pressure to be more extroverted, and like you have to try to get everyone to like you. And it's like, honey, you don't have the riz. Like, just stop. Just please stop. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, one of the best things about being introverted is that you need less people. So if somebody's really annoying, you can just walk away. I understand though that can sound scary to some if they're like, oh, I don't have any friends or whatever, but it's like, just get a core group of friends or get some friends, and then you just don't have to deal with this, because I don't go into a situation and feel like I have to talk to somebody like that. Like, let's watch it.
Yeah, and anyway, she was saying, what's up, man?
if somebody talked to me like that, I would never talk to them again. Period. And I wouldn't forget. I never forget a face. I wouldn't forget either. So, and I probably would mirror it right back to them if I didn't do it already, if this person isn't me. But I can tell you, if I ever treated somebody like that, it's not because you're fat. It's just because I don't want to talk. That's all. It would be like I'm talking to somebody and I don't want to talk. So, or like I'm just not, I'm busy or whatever. But I'm usually okay. Like I know I kind of, like I'm okay. I'm usually like fine. Like I can at least be like, oh, hey, like I have a little bit, tiny bit of Riz, like just a tiny speck of Riz. So I can handle things like that. But it's like, if somebody talked to me like that, I would not talk to them. I wouldn't care to. I would walk away. I would probably just leave. If I already clocked, I may have already looked at the person and already determined I didn't like them. So I may not even have approached. So I'm just saying, like, I think that this will affect certain people more than others. And I think it is a little bit over dramatized. But that's also for like the content and stuff.
Cool. Anyways, sorry. And then after what was happening was, oh, what's up, Jacob? Yeah, come join us, dude.
So see, like, I'd be like, no, thank you. I feel like with me, it'd be like, either way, I'd be like, no, I don't want to join you. I don't want to anyways. Like, I'm just saying, I wouldn't like either one. I'm just saying. So I think what I'm just trying to say with this is it's kind of subjective. Because for me, it would be a lateral move. Either way, I'd be annoyed. I'd be annoyed at somebody talking to me in the first type of way, and I'd be annoyed if somebody talked to me in the other type of way. Because I don't want to have to be like, no, it's fine, I'm good, no, it's fine. It irritates me. Like, if I didn't want to join the group or whatever, I don't want to join the group. You know? So, I don't know. Like I said, all I'm trying to say is it wouldn't necessarily be a better experience for me. And I think it's important to understand that not everybody feels that way about these kind of interactions. And there are plenty, especially introverts, that are not like, I don't know how to describe it. They're introverts that are not insecure about being introverted. That's the best way I could put it. Where you wouldn't like it either way. I wouldn't like it either way. I'm like, ew. So here's this one.
You have a joke? What is it?
If somebody was giving me stank face like that, I would never talk to them. Ever. Even if they were like perfectly fine, I probably wouldn't talk to them. But it's like, honey, like this energy is not giving. I'm just saying, like if you guys do treat people like that, ooh, honey. And I do kind of have stank face sometimes. But again, I'm usually not looking to interact. I'll put it to you that way. 95% of the time, I'm not.
Dude, that's not funny. You're weird. Oh, dude, you have a joke? Let me hear it. Hey, dude, you're funny. You're a cool guy, man. You're hungry?
That'd be so annoying either way. Okay, so here's one where I feel like I can kind of weigh in, pun intended.
Yeah, man, there's nothing in here for you. Sorry.
So I would get that sometimes, but I also had B followed by E followed by D. And I would eat people out of house and home sometimes, especially as a teenager and stuff. So looking back, it didn't always happen to me. And after a certain point, I was self-aware enough to stop doing that. And I just bought my own food and stuff, and I made sure not to do that anymore. But like when people were that way, when I was fully in my disorder, I don't blame them looking back at it. I'm like, I kind of get it. You know, I understand. And I feel like at this point I would get this.
Wait, you said you're hungry? Yeah, come here, man. Yeah, I got chicken.
I would get that kind of response.
You help yourself to whatever.
I would probably get that kind of response now. Just because I don't have the disorder anymore. So I think that one, it's important to look at like some of your behaviors around it. You know what I mean? Because It could be a thing. That's all. And it was a thing in my case. I do have to answer to that or like admit, yeah, I used to eat a lot. And that's not good. And I'm not proud of it or whatever, but I haven't done it in a very long time. And like I said, as I was deconstructing, I stopped doing that because it was not good. It does kind of, it pisses people off, put it to you that way. And not in a productive way. Like, it's not for a good reason. It's bad. If you're like really in it and you cannot stop, I would buy your own stuff. Period. You don't want to make your disorder another person's problem. It needs to be your problem. So be careful with that. But anyways, that's my little sage advice there. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I think with my whole thing with this video is not everybody will feel the same about those interactions. I would not like either one. I wouldn't like either. I would feel like both are annoying. I'd feel like the one is fake. I'd feel like the other one is really rude. And I wouldn't like either one. So for me, it would be a lateral move. So I wouldn't have this wouldn't make me feel like, oh, my life is better because I lost weight. It wouldn't. And so I'm just trying to show a different perspective on that there are a lot of fat people where they wouldn't feel like either was better. They'd be kind of grossed out by either one. That's me, at least. And I am introverted. Doesn't mean I hate people. It doesn't mean I'm like super nasty all the time. I'm not. It's just, I'm always like, for me as an introvert, it's always going to be like, is this interaction worth my time or not? Is this interaction worth my energy or not? Because it's going to take energy. And sometimes it is, and most of the time it is. But I've always worried about this aspect of being thinner, of having people approach in this type of stuff. I'm not exactly looking forward to it. I'll put it to you that way. And luckily, I usually can have enough of a stank face. And then sometimes I have enough energy where I'm okay. Like, I do have more energy. So that's something I will say to my introvert fatties, is that when you lose the weight, you tend to get healthier and you have more energy to give. So you're less irritated by other people. So I think that's important to think about too and to consider. So it may be more pleasant than not. But for me, the way that this guy was acting, I would be pretty disgusted both ways. So anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, let me know what you think. I'm glad that some of you guys have been really enjoying this series. And I'm going to keep doing it, at least until I'm not mid anymore. So see you soon. Bye.